Hey, it's Jonathan Gabel here. Here's a good one. You ready for this one? Ever have your money held by your credit card processor? Have you? That stinks. So our goal as a relationship-focused, personal attention type of solution provider is to make sure that A, we set up your account properly from day one. And what happens now is because so many people seem to be in the credit card processing industry. I don't care if you're a big bank or if you're the guy down the road. Everyone seems to know somebody that offers credit card processing services. But the kicker is there's really no formal training for this. So it's kind of like you learn as you go, right? Which is cool because, people got to learn and people got to make money, so they want to be able to do it well. But you want to make sure that whoever you choose to set your business up with is doing it the right way. Because if you don't do it the right way, there's all sorts of things that can happen down the road. And one of the things that's most impactful is when your credit card processing company stops depositing your money. And sometimes it takes a day or four for them to actually notify you that they're not going to do it, which is crazy, right? So let's say you're a baker and you bake chocolate croissants all day long, which is one of my favorites. I love chocolate croissants. Anyway, so if you ever want to send me a present, send me chocolate croissants. Those are really good. So let's say that you're a baker and you bake chocolate croissants. So all day long, you're selling chocolate croissants for $2. $2. So that's your average ticket. And if you remember when you filled out your merchant application with whoever your provider is, 3 questions they asked you is, what's your monthly volume? What's your average ticket? And what is your high ticket? The high ticket is the most impactful, that can really derail your operation. So again, you're selling chocolate croissants, right, all day long, $2 all day long, $2. And all of a sudden, your best friend says, hey, Jonathan, can you cater my wedding and sell me or bake me 1,000 chocolate croissants? And you're like, oh my God, I love chocolate croissants. I'd love to bake them. Let's do it, right? So you bake them 1,000 chocolate croissants at $2 a piece. All of a sudden, you run their credit card for $2,000. So Visa, MasterCard, and your processor their risk and loss prevention, they see all of a sudden $2, $2,000, bam, $2. That is a trigger for fraud right off the bat. And if your service provider didn't note that when they applied for your merchant account, when it was underwritten, that'll lock up your merchant account until A, your processor's risk department is going to reach out to you and verify that sale. But they're not just going to say, hey, Mr. Merchant, did you run the sale? And you go, oh yeah, that was me. They're not going to do that. They're going to say, hey, Mr. Merchant, we see that you ran this $2,000 sale, which is completely out of your norm. So we're going to need some documentation. Now, what documentation do they need? Well, number one, they're going to need a signed receipt, hopefully. You have a signed receipt. Hopefully it was a swipe transaction or a chip transaction, not a keyed transaction, because that opens up a whole other can of worms. But signed receipt, work order or invoice detailing what the products or services were. And if all of that stuff checks out nicely, then you're good to go, right? But if not, they're going to call that customer's card issuing bank and say, okay, Visa, MasterCard, is this spending fit the criteria or the history of this cardholder? They always buy $2,000 worth of Danish or baked goods or something like that. And if they say, oh yeah, that's normal for them, they're like, okay, good. And they may release the funds at that point. But if that card issuing bank says, no, that's completely out of norm, then they're going to call your customer, right? And they're going to say, hey, Mr. Customer, we see that you spent $2,000 at ABC Baking Co. And we just want to make sure that A, you received the product, B, the product was as it was promised, and C, that you're happy with everything. So that can be taken in a lot of different ways. Some merchants are like, I don't want you calling my merchant or calling my customers because it sounds like you're questioning that business's integrity. And that becomes a big issue because as a business owner, we all work very hard to create that level of service and that level of trust and the image we want to put out into the world. So to have, some bank guy calling our customers and questioning what seems to be our integrity is not a good thing. So here's one thing, 2 things, maybe 3 things that you can do to make sure that your account is set up from day one correctly so you don't run into these risk holds, or funds on hold is what they call it in the techie industry. So number 1, make sure that you are providing the correct information. So your merchant service provider, when they set you up, they should be asking you 3 things. And if you get nothing else right on your application, get these 3 things right. Number 1, what your average monthly sales are. So if you process $100,000 a month and you tell whoever's setting you up that you only process $10,000 a month, you're going to get like 5 days into your month and all of a sudden it's going to set off risk flags, okay? So you want to make sure you're pretty accurate on your average monthly sales. Number 2, you want to be accurate on your average transaction amount. So if you sell chocolate croissants all day long and it's $2, that's your average ticket, $2, right? If you are a restaurant, here's a variable. If you're a restaurant and restaurants count their tickets by spend per person, I think is what it is, right? But most tables usually pay as one. So it's not spend per person. If you have a 4-top and $20 a person, that's an $80 ticket in the credit card transactions eyes. So you want to be clear on that. Third thing, and most importantly, is your high ticket. If you sell chocolate croissants all day long for $2, but occasionally do a catering job, the way the question should actually be worded is, what's the highest transaction you've ever processed at one time that made you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm putting this on a credit card? That's the way the question should be worded, because that's what we as underwriters of the credit card industry are looking for. So keep that in mind. If you are experiencing funds on hold with your processor, there are ways to increment that up. They can do a re-review of your account. You can give them some information, probably bank statements, probably some invoices of some larger transactions, and they can set that up for you higher. If you're just completely fed up, take a look around. Talk to whoever you're gonna shop, see if you can get some better pricing, and then also just be very, very clear when you're shopping around. Say, this is my business model. This is how I process things. I need to make sure it's set up properly from day one so I don't have any issues down the road. Any more questions on this? Give me a shout, give me an email, give me a text, give me a thing, push a button, just send me something. I don't know. Figure it out. Find me, and I'll be happy to answer questions and help out whenever I can. Thanks again.